Shadows in the Rain Part 2. The following day, Detective Kato Mori sat at his desk, the remnants of cold coffee scattered across the surface. Hiroshi Soto was in custody, but his silence was deafening. The man had refused to speak, only giving Kato a cryptic smile when asked about Akira Tanaka's whereabouts. The case seemed straightforward, but Kato knew better. When powerful men like Shirogane were involved, nothing was ever as it seemed. His phone rang, breaking his thoughts. Kato, his partner, Rika, said through the line. "I found something. You need to see this." Kato grabbed his coat and rushed to the precinct. Rika was waiting in the small evidence room, her face pale as she held up a file. "It's about Akira's last investigation. He was digging into something bigger than we thought." She slid a series of photos across the table. One was a picture of Shirogane shaking hands with a foreign diplomat. The others were blurry images of a secret meeting in a warehouse, a shipment of weapons, and men wearing masks standing guard. Kato studied the photos. So Akira found evidence of an international arms deal? Rika nodded. And he was getting too close. He was ready to blow the whole operation wide open. Kato clenched his fists. Shirogane had to have known. He couldn't let that happen. He ran his hand over his face, the weight of the situation settling heavily on his shoulders. Shirogane was powerful, but he wasn't untouchable. And Kato had just discovered the most dangerous secret of all: Akira Tanaka hadn't been killed. He was still alive. Meanwhile, in a dimly lit warehouse on the outskirts of the city, Akira Tanaka, bruised but alive, was tied to a chair, his clothes ripped. His mind was racing, piecing together what had happened. After being abducted 2 weeks ago, he had been kept hidden while Shirogane's men tried to break him. But they hadn't succeeded. "Do you really think you can escape this?" A man's voice echoed from the shadows. A man's voice echoed from the shadows. It was deep, cold, unmistakably Shirogane's. Akira's heart raced. He knew what Shirogane wanted. He had to act fast. "I'm not the only one who knows about the deal," Akira said, his voice steady despite the pain. "Your enemies are already coming for you. They're going to take everything." Shirogane stepped forward, his face lit only by the faint glow of a cigarette. "You talk too much for someone in your position." He leaned in close, his breath rancid with tobacco. "The only reason you're still alive is because I need you to stay quiet." Akira's eyes locked onto Shirogane's, a small spark of defiance flickering in them. "You're running out of time." Shirogane smirked. "Then let's see how long you can keep talking before I cut that tongue of yours out." Back in the city, Kato and Rika stood in front of Shirogane's mansion. The detective's mind was racing. Akira was alive, and he was being held somewhere. Kato knew that every second counted. "I'll take the back," Rika said, nodding toward the perimeter of the estate. Kato turned to her. "Stay sharp. We don't know who's with him. If Shirogane's behind this, we can't afford to make any mistakes." They split up, moving swiftly and silently through the rain-soaked grounds. Kato's eyes darted to the security cameras as he crouched by the mansion's back door. He pulled out a lockpick and worked quickly. The door clicked open, and Kato slipped inside. The silence in the mansion felt oppressive. Every step he took was calculated, his heart pounding in his chest. He reached the top of a spiral staircase and froze. There, in a room at the end of the hallway, he saw 2 armed guards standing by a door. Akira was inside. Kato could hear muffled sounds, pleading or perhaps a last-ditch effort to bargain. The detective drew his gun, steadying his breath. It was time.